guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Sophie. Thank you for tuning in today. Sorry about last week, no video. I had some projects I had to finish up. This week we are going to be talking about how I knew I was trans. My story. My story honestly isn't all that much different from a lot of other people's, I think. At some point in my life, I think when I was a kid, I may have had an inkling because, I used to dress up and try to put makeup on, things that, I saw women around me doing, and that was fun. I liked it. That doesn't necessarily mean anything at that stage, but I do think that I probably did express uh, wanting to be more of a woman and more feminine, and I've always been a very feminine person. Anyway, somewhere along the way, I think I just sort of repressed that. I don't think anybody told me I can't necessarily be like that. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. That might still be repressed. I don't know. But um, along the way, I kind of figured that, I should stop acting like that because no one else was doing it. So I stopped and I lived my life for however many years up until I was 27. And actually, let's back up. That was a little bit before 27. I think the next time that I kind of had an inkling about all of this, I was actually living abroad. Um, and it was not my first time living abroad, it was my second time living abroad. I was studying abroad in Japan, and I was taking a class on gender studies. And we talked about different diverse genders from all around the world, and that was very interesting, very eye-opening. And I think one of the things that kind of stuck with me was the concept of two-spirit people, which is common to a lot of native cultures to different areas. But most notably, I know that we definitely have cultures here in the United States that believe in two spirits. And I'm not indigenous in any way, shape, or form, so it's not necessarily my place to educate people on it, but to my knowledge, it was, kind of recognizing people that had sort of two spirits in them. So maybe they were born with a male body, but they had a lot of feminine tendencies. They were kind of, allowed to wear feminine clothing and um, participate in society in a way that a woman would. And in some cases, even marrying, and I think I've heard of some extreme cases where people would kind of have children that would never come to fruition, obviously, but they would kind of, put things around their stomach area, kind of stuff, kind of go through that process. I don't know. I think I remember reading something in an anthropology class about that, and that was kind of an extreme case, I think. But anyway, so that kind of stuck with me, because I was like, well, I was born with a man's body, but I've always been very feminine. I like doing a lot of feminine things, and that just kind of stuck with me. But I never actually made the connection. I never connected those dots. I just kind of left it at that. I was like, well, I'm just a very feminine guy. And then fast forward to through going back to my country, finishing my master's degree, going back to Japan for 3 years, and then coming back again. And I think it would have been 2019. I was talking with one of my coworkers, and I just kind of told her, I feel like I am not just a guy. I feel like, there's a lot of feminine qualities in me, and I think at the time I was kind of flirting with the idea, although I didn't know it then, that, I might have been maybe bi gender. But then upon further research, I just sort of decided that wasn't what was going on with me. And I ended up kind of just figuring out, well, maybe I'm just a woman. And that didn't necessarily make the most sense to me because, well, my body is a man. And yeah, I mean, I've known about trans people, and one of my good friends from high school is trans, and you know, it's something that kind of started opening my mind to it, I think, seeing her and how happy she is. But basically, after a short amount of time, I was just like, yeah, I'm a woman. And I kind of sat on that for a little bit, maybe half a week or so. And then I texted my fiance and I said, you know, I think we need to have a talk. I'm not necessarily feeling the most comfortable in my body. And I want to go off on a little tangent for a second about that because it's interesting. Until I actually acknowledged that, I don't think I really realized how uncomfortable I was. Um, so yeah, that was kind of interesting. Because if you had asked me before, I would have been like, yeah, I'm fine with all this. Um, but once you kind of start acknowledging it, it's kind of like opening the floodgates, I think. So yeah, he reacted very well to it. He basically just said, do we need to have a trans conversation? And I said yes. And I think that conversation involved lots of crying and on my part. And him basically saying, well, you know, let's do what we can do to make you comfortable. Like, let's get you some clothes that you might want to try, and let's see about maybe getting you some breast forms or something like that so, you know, you can have more breasts. And then shortly after that, I said, well, you know, where would I even go about getting, like, what do I do now? And he said, well, you know, why don't you talk to somebody that's done it? So I did, and that is going to be for another video because now we're going to start to get into hormones and visiting the doctors and stuff like that. So I think that should be made into its own video. So for now, let's talk about tea. Today's tea is, I think, one that I've talked about before. I think I talked about it in my first video, actually. Um, it's my honey rose water tea, but today I put a twist on it. I put some cinnamon in it. And I chose this tea just because I needed some comfort in a cup, I guess. Like, this is kind of my self-love tea. So I think talking about this is an emotional topic for me, even though it might not look like it. I just kind of plowed on through all that. Um, but no, uh, I like this tea. This has kind of been my go-to tea for years, so. Yeah. As always, let me know what you think of the video in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, but no pressure. Share my video with your friends if you liked it and you think that maybe they would benefit from hearing how one trans person figured out that they were trans. And let me know what your favorite tea is in the comments. See you later. Bye.